Hello and welcome to Wyndham Primary School Open Night. You're probably wondering what is the Humanities and Social Sciences and why do we teach it in primary school? The Humanities and Social Sciences is a subject where students learn about human behaviour and how we interact in social, cultural, environmental, economic and political contexts. The Humanities and Social Sciences learning area includes a study of history, geography, civics and citizenship, and business and economics. The Humanities provide a framework for students to examine the complex processes that have shaped the modern world and to investigate responses to different challenges, including people's interconnections with the environment. In civics and citizenship and economics and business, students learn about Australia's role in global systems and are encouraged to appreciate democratic principles and to contribute as active, informed and responsible citizens. In history and geography, students explore the processes that have and will continue to shape different societies and cultures, to appreciate the common humanity shared across time and distance, and to evaluate the ways in which humans have and continue to face in different challenges. Students will learn about the worldwide views and religions, which will enable them to be informed and engaged at both a local and global level, gain an understanding of the perspectives of diverse local communities and being informed about the beliefs and practices of diverse traditions. The key ideas in this learning area are who we are, who came before us, and traditions and values that have shaped societies, how societies and economics operate and how they are changing over time, and the ways people, ideas, and environment are perceived and connected, how people exercise their responsibilities, participate in society, and make informed decisions. The skills that the students will learn through Humanities and Social Sciences are the ability to question, to be able to think critically and have the tools to solve problems, to be able to communicate effectively and to be able to inform decisions and to be able to adapt to change.
At Wyndham Primary School, we pride ourselves on including Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander perspectives. Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander histories and cultures is one of the curriculum priority areas within the Australian curriculum and the Victorian curriculum. It is an expectation as a teacher to know strategies to teach Indigenous students and how to educate non-Indigenous students about Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander histories and culture. This priority area specifically aims to close the gap in learning outcomes between Indigenous and non-Indigenous Australians. The Australian curriculum provides a conceptual framework that we use as teachers to provide students with knowledge of Indigenous Australians. The themes include living communities, country, place, culture, people and identity. These themes are taught to students over their primary schooling and within inquiry units. In Foundation, Grade 1 and Grade 2, we focus on educating students about people and identity. In Grade 3, we focus on living communities, and in Grade 5 and 6, we educate students about country, place and culture. We embed these themes in inquiry and make sure they are relevant in each year level so students will understand them and it helps them build respect, establish relationships and promote reconciliation. Australia values cultural diversity as being a key part of the past, present and future. Our school uses the grade level approach of teaching cultural diversity. However, we also promote significant days as a school. Harmony Day on the 21st of March is celebrated to promote cultural diversity and Australian history. On this day, we complete different activities that enable students to understand and explore different cultures. We also celebrate National Reconciliation Week from the 27th of May to the 3rd of June to celebrate the history of the first Australians. During this week, we complete different activities that educate students about Indigenous Australians, including research activities, reading books about Indigenous culture, watching videos suitable for primary students, and we invite an elder into the school to speak to the students. Teaching students about Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders should be included within humanities education because it engages students in reconciliation and respect of the world's oldest continuous living cultures. As a part of the Indigenous studies here at Wyndham Primary School, we attend an excursion each year. This year we went to the Melbourne Museum and explored the Bundjalaka Aboriginal Cultural Centre. After the excursion, the students participate in a range of activities to enhance their learning. An example of this is we discuss the areas to do with sustainability, the eels, sustainability and the Malaria Garden. We then discuss how Aboriginals protected their environment and were sustainable. To further the students' understanding, we read the story Tita Lick the Frog and we discuss what we believe the story is about. As a class, we also develop ideas of how we can protect our school environment as individuals.
An additional learning opportunity that students can gain from the visit to Bunjalapa exhibition at the Melbourne Museum is the concept of Aboriginal Australia and what different clans made up Australia prior to Federation. After taking part in the hands-on displays at the museum, back at school students are given two different maps, one representing Australia prior to Federation and one representing Australia after with the 7 states. Students fill in these maps with one on tracing paper so they can make comparisons between the two. They then focus on their local area, in particular what clans used to inhabit Victoria. Moving forwards, students research one particular clan in depth from their local area and become the expert before reporting back to the class with their findings.
In the museum, students were able to practice speaking and pronouncing a few words in the local Aboriginal language of the Wurundjeri people. The students also took photos of the names of the objects that were in the Malari Garden. In this lesson, students would be taught how to pronounce the alphabet of the Aboriginal language of the Wurundjeri people, and then have the students to form groups to then try and pronounce the names of the objects that they have taken photos of in the Malari Garden. An extension of this lesson is to have the students create their own gardens and label the objects in the garden with the words that they have learnt.
The Australian Institute for Teaching and School Leadership advised that teachers and schools work in partnership with Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people to ensure that the resources used and perspectives being taken by a teacher are culturally appropriate. An incursion delivered by the Kimmeray Aboriginal Incursions tutors will help students make connections to the artworks observed at the Bunjalaka Aboriginal Cultural Centre, such as the displayed artworks from the Picture Making Fellas. Programs like Ochres of the Land Art Workshop teaches students the meanings of ancient art symbols from dot painting to cross-hatching, X-ray art and animal totems. This activity allows for students to come to understand the interconnections that Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people have for their country and place. The word pedagogy has a very distinct meaning. Dr. Sun Walker describes the word pedagogy as creating an educational process that will lead to knowledge transfer to a new learner. The Humanities and Social Sciences teaching team have supported each other in developing a pedagogy that embraces and informs educational theory and practice. Our pedagogy reflects the most influential theories of learning and teaching, the significant curriculum and teaching priorities outlined in the Australian curriculum, Victorian curriculum, and Wyndham Primary School. Our pedagogy is a continuous process considering the changes in social functions of education, that is language, culture, and formal educational settings. We believe that carrying out varieties of efficient and effective modes of assessment, evaluation and reflection will allow for flexibility in modification and informative improvements to be made to the pedagogical process. At Wyndham Primary School, we aim to develop confident, resilient and intelligent members of a diverse local and global community. Our school 4 core values are 1. Respect for others, ourselves and environment. 2. Creativity. We are explorers, discoverers and creators. We are innovative and resourceful learners with passion. 3. Community. We strive to contribute to school and wider community. And 4. Personal excellence. Always trying and having a go and continuing to do our best. To help students build self-confidence and interdependent skills, teachers encourage all students to participate in the learning process and then effectively transfer the learning responsibility. With enough guidance and support initially, students should be able to gain in proficiency the task that they are trying to accomplish. This process, influenced by Vygotsky's learning theory, helps students to take responsibility for their own learning. Rogers suggests that the role of the teaching is to facilitate learning in a supportive and positive environment, making the learning intentions clear and relevant, provide accessible learning resources, and ensuring students receive constructive feedback that supports further learning. Miller describes the key aspects of holistic approach-based teaching, which are learning is organic and experimental, learning connects strongly with the community, students' values, needs, and interests are respected, and connections are made to the natural environment that we live in.
In our humanities classes, we use assessment to inform how we teach our students, to assess our students' achievements as well as allowing students to assess their own learning. This occurs through the assessment model of assessment for, of, and as learning. Assessment for learning is a form of formative assessment. This happens through classroom observations. Teachers observe classroom activities and classwork to assess their students' progress, which is used to inform their future teaching. In particular, what areas may need readdressing. Classroom observations happen in all year level classes in humanities and form the basis of the majority of assessment. Assessment of learning is evidence-based. This is where we as teachers use students-generated evidence, like classwork, tests, to determine and make judgments on what they have been able to achieve against goals or standards. Within our humanities department, these goals are pre-described and discussed with students, whether they be in the form of guidelines or rubrics. These goals ensure that all students are assessed against the required standards for the year level in response to the Victorian curriculum. Again, this formal type of assessment happens in all classes from foundation to grade 6, as it can be tailored to the individual skills of each respective year level. The third type of assessment is assessment as learning. This form of assessment is student-driven. Here they are allowed to reflect and monitor their own progress. This type of learning is important as it allows each individual child to take control of their own learning and set individual goals to further their learning. In every year level, students are given the opportunity to journal what they have experienced during the class or week. Students in lower age levels can use drawings to convey what they are thinking. Students also come together on the floor to verbalise their opinions on their growth and achievements. Through all of these types of assessment, we aim to continuously celebrate the efforts of each individual child. At the end of all humanities classes, we try to come back to a circle where students can share something that they enjoyed from the day, something that they thought was interesting, and anything that they were particularly proud of. Students' work is also displayed around the classroom so that all visitors can see the amazing work that our classes are producing, as well as allowing each individual child to display their work and feel proud to have it hanging in the classroom. The main reason that we assess students is that it determines prior knowledge, sees what information students have retained, and allows us to plan future learning activities.